Hello, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel. It is the end of the year. My hands are bloody in a couple spots, but I've been making a few less rats over the last couple days, so they're not doing as bad as they normally are. Anyway, as you can see, we're here to do the Rat of the Year Awards, first annual, and we're going to set it off with this little tier list, and this will rank every rat I made this year. Many of these you have not seen the creation videos for, but the videos will be posted in the coming weeks and months. So we're gonna go ahead and just, I guess, just grab a rat and get it started here. Well, actually, let me start off with something kind of easy. I have rats and cats all over me. I forgot to mention there will be a couple cats in this tier list. So certain cats, I'm just going to keep it honest with you. This is an F tier cat. You got the white cat with the heart. It's a Valentine's Day cat. That's going to be an F tier cat. This is a skin toned rat that I was working on. I'm trying to keep this video a little bit short, so this one here was going to be my first Latinx rat, but it just kind of ended up not working out. I don't think I added enough terracotta coloring to really nail the pigment, so it kind of just looks like a sunburned white rat. So that will go in C. That's a C tier rat. Let's keep right on moving. We're gonna go with this rat here. This is the rat with the bulging orange eyes. Pretty good rat overall. I like the lip color, kind of faded out. Again, kind of looks sunburned. We're going to go ahead and put that rat in B tier. Next up, we got the we got these two rats, and these two rats are fairly similar. Originally, I was in love with the color of these rats, but it ended up, I still do. I was going for like a My Chem kind of color scheme on these rats. And, you know, they're still pretty good rats, but I don't think they're going to make a super high tier today. I think this one's probably, I think they're both going to go into the B tier, and I think I can already see an issue that we're going to run into because I have far too many rats, so we're going to really cram your rats in your tiers. And this is the first time I'm on the channel that I'm mentioning rats and tiers without mentioning that the rats have brought somebody, a customer, very many tiers or anything like that, because the rats do obviously get a lot of complaints about possession and things like that. So anyway, here we go. This one actually just bit me. We got another Valentine's cat. This one is going to be something you'll see on Valentine's Day or around then if you tune in. Just a little sneak peek here. That's an F tier cat, by the way. This cat, all February I am going to be doing cats only on the channel for the amount of love we have for hatred of cats. Okay, we got our first naked cat, our first naked rat, excuse me, that I ever created. And I think this is a great rat. I was working on the Freckle Juice. I don't know if you can see that in the footage. I think that's going to be our first A tier contender. And folks, after we get all of these rats, we will choose the Rat of the Year. Keep that in mind. That is something that this competition is all about. There are a couple rats and cats that are not present. A photo of them will be inserted wherever they fall on the tier list. This rat here has been the bane of my existence for the year 2025. It's gotten a lot of allegations. It's gotten a lot of hatred. It's gotten a decent amount of love too, but this rat, for all the issues that it's caused me, I'm going to put it right in D tier. And I do think that's obviously a little bit biased based on the strife that it's brought to my life. But that's where it's going to fall. Next up, we got this little gray rat. And this rat here, I think had a lot of potential, but I think it still looks pretty good, but unfortunately a lot of really great rats came about this year. So we're going to go ahead and put this rat in. I think this rat's going to be moved down to C tier because this is the original of these rats. So that rat will be bumped down to C tier for not being an original. This rat will be in B tier. I think that's about fair. I really hope that's fair. Okay, next up we got this little tiny rat. Really great rat overall. I really enjoyed making this one. This is one of my earlier ones. And I know it's tough to see on the big camera, so I'll probably just do a little bit of work and editing so that you're mostly seeing this camera. This rat is a pretty great rat. This rat's going to go also in B tier. And I do see our B tier already kind of cramping up with rats, and that will be an issue down the line. Easy rat right here, one of my earliest rats. I think this might have actually been my third or fourth rat. And this is one of my earliest examples of a cigarette rat, easy A tier. And these are not graded left to right, they're only graded vertically. So top of the tier horizontally does not mean anything. Vertically, obviously. Okay, so next we got this rat. This is an excellent rat. I actually love this rat here. Really great coloring. I think this is the first rat that I gave red eyes to, possibly. That's an A tier rat. It's an easy A tier rat. Not too much to say about that rat, folks. A little bit heavy set on that rat, I will say that. Here's this is my first rat that was a multicolored rat, and I think the coloration is pretty good, but overall it's a pretty plain rat, so I will give this rat space in C tier, which is a respectable ranking for a rat of this caliber. At least it is above the cats that we've seen so far, but it's just not out there enough. If you'll notice quickly, the crazier the rat is in my what would you say, in my I can't think of the word, in the way I'm thinking of things, the way I'm seeing things, the crazier the rat is, the higher it's going to usually be on the tier list. Also, sentimental rats will go high on the tier list. Rats that have caused me strife seem to fall lower on the tier list. Cats, so far we haven't seen, it's not impossible, but we have not seen any cats ascend above F tier this year so far. Next I'm going to bring up this rat right here. I actually love this rat. This is one of the earlier rats that I gave kind of loose ear feels, a looser feeling on the brushing of the ears too, and I gave it the classic stitches, which you'll see if you head over to my other channel and check out my heads tier list for the year. This is an A tier rat. That's a clear example of an A tier rat. Next up we got this cat right here. It's kind of a plain cat. Got the classic 2-whisker build, bloody teeth, and kind of pointy ears, very rigid ears on this cat. This is an F tier cat. Not too much to say about that. It's not perfectly shaped or anything like that. It might have stood a chance, but it didn't. Next we got our Jerry style color scheme rat. This one has been nothing but great to me. Nothing but a joy to be around this year. This is an A tier rat easily. What else do we got here? We got this kind of crazy looking Jerry edition rat, and this is kind of sometimes you'll see me do an iteration of a rat. So I do really like this one for the iteration of the rat that it was based off of, which is this Jerry rat, at least based color scheme wise. A lot of people do complain about the noses of these rats. I really still do enjoy this rat, but it is an iteration, and usually the iterations, not always, will fall slightly short of the actual rat, as you'll see here. So we will drop this one down to B tier for now. Next up we got this rat right here. Kind of plain. I didn't like the white lips. I think that was a mistake on this rat. This is going down in the D tier. This rat is not It's not gonna rank above D tier this year. Sorry. Here's another good example. This is another iteration rat. I did have, despite the allegations and the hatred toward Rat 1 in D tier, this one is gonna. There were a lot of people looking to. There was a lot of interest, a lot of buzz around this rat. There was a lot of popularity generated, a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. Is the rat possessed? Is the rat depicting anything in particular other than a rat? Which it's not, and I'll keep defend that until the day I die. Anyway, it was a popular rat nonetheless, and it did still get some popular, not popular, it did still get some positive attention in the sense that many people reached out and said it's a great rat, it's a wonderful rat. But unfortunately, it was buried this year in the tier list due to the aforementioned allegations and things of that nature. So this rat, being a iteration of this rat, and there is one more, will take the lowest rank so far of the rats. It'll be in the D tier. I was thinking about maybe putting in F tier, but you know what? It's not as bad as this one. They're not. It's about as equally bad as that one. So we'll leave it where it's at for now. This is probably one of my best cats of the year. I would say it is a. I think this is the first cat that I did this year with coloration. Something about it, I'm not sure what it is, but nonetheless, something about it. Also really like the flappy ears on it. I like the way the coloration kind of works its way into like a little, almost like a mustache looking. Either way, something about it is throwing me off. That's an F tier cat. This is an amazing rat, one of my favorite rats of the year, I would say. This is my Farewell Mr. Tien rat, which I did not expect it to be that, but that's what it ended up being. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. That's an A tier rat. If you haven't noticed yet, only one or two of these rats is going to make it into the S tier for this year. And S tier, King of the Rats, Rat of the Year, possible 2 Rats of the Year situation. We'll see what happens when we come down to it. I don't foresee a lot of these situations playing out where we go head to head, you know, with a contender rat up against the champ going to take the belt. I don't see a lot of situations playing out where we have that going on for our Rat of the Years. But right now, we'll move on to the next rat and we'll see what happens. It's not out of question. It's not something that's impossible. This was a nice little rat. Kind of like the ears. I think I do like the kind of gothic look on some of the rats. This rat is easy. It's another A tier rat. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you can tell I do love the black, white, and maroon color scheme. So that is something that always will rank highly. In most cases, I would say. Speaking of, I got a white cat. This is one of my first cats, to be clear. It's my second cat of all time. And I do love the shape of the cat. I do think the teeth look good, a little bit goofy. Something, again, I don't know if it's whisker positioning. Something's a little bit off about this cat that's giving me the skeeving me out. So it's an F tier cat. We'll go with this one here. This is a good rat. It's, you know, as good as you can be for kind of a plain rat. We got the classic button eyes, which is another form of... I do a couple different... So you got this one with the bulging eyes, button eyes, things like that. Regular eyes, red eyes, bulging eyes, red eyes, black eyes. So this one is a little bit too plain for my liking. It is a great rat. They're all great rats, but... you know, in their own sense. First cat I ever made, perfect cat shape, really great cat shape. Kind of more of a wild cat looking thing. Whiskers, 3 whiskers in the first iteration of cats, because you do fail to realize sometimes when you're crafting that they're just not built like rats. The rats have the space for the 3 whiskers. This is a little overkill on this little cat here, so for that reason, that rat is going to have to be F tier. That cat, I'm sorry. I'm crossing my wires up really badly. Here's another cat. Love the ears, love the coloration. This might be my favorite cat I've made of the year. Great ears, great coloration, F tier cat. End of the day, it's an F tier cat. What else do we got? We got this naked rat. This is a great rat. And this one I believe I mentioned in the video, and I don't know if anyone's familiar. This reminds me of the Pizza Hut promo from years and years and years ago. I might be dating myself. Where there were sharks given out. You could see my signature there. Where sharks were given out, and one was a hammerhead, one was a great white, I believe, at the Pizza Hut promo. And this one kind of reminded me of that shape-wise, and that's going to be an A tier rat as it stands. We'll go over to this one here. The third, I did 3 cats that are going to be scheduled very close to Valentine's Day. The cats are depicted as deceased because of our love for the rats. Not out of disrespect for the cats. This one, unfortunately, just falls a little bit short. This one was our very good contender for D tier, but it fell a little bit short this time. Maybe you'll get him next year, buddy. Before we start getting into the high A S tier, and again, there's not really a such thing as a high A technically in this situation, but I do just want to give a quick honorable mention to this little turtle that somehow made its way into my world this year. This is a painted turtle, reminded me of my youth, the turtles that we released in the lake in the late 90s. So that's going to just be an honorable mention down here. Coming up, we got the last 2 contestants that are here in the physical form. I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4 not present contenders, which I will digitally impose onto the playing field here. So for your top contenders for Rat of the Year, we have the cigarette rat. This is one of my early rats. I do love this rat. You see it's got the chunk missing out of the ears. Excellent, excellent composition here. It's got the cigarette. I pictured this rat as a cabbie. A lot of people took issue with that. They saw other things in this rat. But we'll put him right now for S tier. That's one of our S tier rats contenders. And here's our final rat of the contender of the year. This is a classic albino rat. It's got the fully pink ears, pink on the nose, stitched mouth, red eyes, hand-painted red eyes, which as you see next to red eyes, red eyes, red eyes, very different looking than your traditional red-eyed rat, if you can see that. And this one was the first rat I ever made, and this being the first year I started making rats, that would make sense. So I think what's going to happen is this rat is now Rat of the Year, folks. There you have it. Round of applause for this rat, Rat of the Year. Now before we go, I'd like to just quickly go over what we got here. Unfortunately this year, we did have to put 3 rats in D tier. I don't really like doing that, but this rat reminded me too much of Oreo cookies. This is an iteration rat, and this rat caused me tons of strife. C tier rats kind of all deserve their position. Iteration rat, plain, not really that great. Didn't love the way the colors fell on this rat, and this is just too goofy. This might be a 2026 B tier rat, but I'm not. This year I was not making rats during the summer, so in the coming year you will see a sunburnt series of rats, and this would be really high tier for sunburnt. Let me just get one more look at that before we go here. You see the lips, really chapped, charred. See if you can get up close and personal with that rat. You see, very sunburnt looking rat, but unfortunately that was not a theme this year. So that rat falls into C tier. B tier rats kind of make sense why they're there. They deserve their spot. Highest rated rats of the year are going to be our 2 cigarette rats. This rat right here obviously is Rat of the Year. Jerry was a great rat. It was a good year for rats, folks. This was another amazing rat. And our naked rats, obviously, our two first naked rats, rounding out the A tier. So I want to thank you for tuning in to your 2025 broadcast of the Rat of the Year Awards. And I do want to remind everybody before we go that this is not a sponsored event. These rats are all 100% handmade. The rats are not cursed. The rats are not demonic. They're not here to bring you any kind of hell in your life. They're not going to ruin your life in any way, shape, or form. If you get divorced, it's not because of the rats. If your house burns down, it's not because of the rats. If some entity finds its way into your home and worms its way into your brain, it's not because of the rats, folks. So please stop sending me those emails when you purchase your rats. And, yep, that's really it for Rat of the Year 2025. Again, I want to thank you for being here, and I hope we see you next year for the Rat of the Year 2026.